The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, my name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. And tonight, I got a very special guest making his 1600th appearance. No, probably about close to 10. Todd Graham.
Well, you said 57 minutes of the name game is for my apropos for my 57th appearance on the show. The Steve Martin.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna get T-shirts that just say yes, I am the Steve Martin.
Nice.
For what reason? I don't know.
Okay, so one question, because we say we're going to play the name game, but somebody asked me to ask you this, and I like the kid. So Shay Cash says, when is Derek Simonetti versus Shay Cash going to happen? And you can answer him just the way you said it to me in the first time.
Here we go. All right. Shay, I have a broken neck, and you're not gentle. So eventually, who knows?
Yep.
I know I'm going to make stupid decisions about getting back in the ring.
Do.
In the words of Dick Lane, you're just going to retire 700 times anyway. What's the difference, Terry Funk? And I'm like, damn it.
Right. Forever.
Let me tell you something, God damn it. My horse has been dead since WrestleMania 2, and I left him on the lawn with my wife. Trust me, you want to get the boys throwing up in the car laughing?
I've met a lot of wrestlers. You know that. You know what I mean? Never met Terry Funk, and that would be like unreal. I met Stan Hansen, and I swear to God, it was unbelievable. Let's put it that way. I'll tell you about it after the show.
Yeah.
Let's get into the name game. I'm going to say a name that I've never said on here before. I told you this earlier. Leo Connors. That Mark wants to know what you think of him.
This guy's a mark.
He's a Mark.
Well, I mean, let's be, and I think I would have said this to anybody else, but since it's you look like Vince Russo. That's
people have told me that.
Tell me, bro. What are we gonna do, bro?
Listen, bro.
What are we putting on a poll this week, bro?
Listen, let me get Anthony Katina over here, all right, bro?
His name's not on the list, right?
No, he's not.
Good. No, I mean, you have opened the door to allow so many people to come on. I mean, look, it's very clear that I love the sound of my own voice, which is why
I actually like it though too. That's why you hear a lot. So just there you go.
Which is why I have my own podcast, Storytellers Beneath the Canvas, now on Spotify. Look, I said I wasn't going to take any questions, but I'm certainly going to plug all of my stuff. Like all my dollies right here.
Look at them.
Can we see him on the two-shot? Are we good on the two-shot?
Yeah, I think Dick has set up.
Yeah, so
he shuts the things up over there because I tend to look at myself a lot when I'm on camera.
You know, I do that during the podcast because we do a 3-camera shoot, and I'm just I noticed myself doing it. And I'm just like, I can't.
All right, let's jump into
You didn't even let me put you over.
Oh, all right, okay. I'll let you put me over.
All right, you're good.
No, good. I'm sorry.
No, you've given a lot of opportunities to people to come out here and tell their stories and whatnot, and you get varying. You get people coming on. You get you are the great starting point, the getting to know you interview of New England wrestling, and then once you have people like me or Maverick or Sonny on multiple times, it's just like, well, we already got to know him. Now let's just tell funny stories.
Exactly. I appreciate that very much. And that's the reason why I started the show. When I wanted the show, I wanted to do this. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to do like the New England Indie Insider, but with interviews also. Yeah. But I couldn't do it by myself. You can't cover 6 states. That's why I'm not doing it now either. Can't cover 6 states with 2 people.
Look, I'll be dead in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Connecticut. Okay?
I hear you. No. All right. So let's go. How about Shane Sharp?
Shane Sharp. Shane Sharp was the first, I want to say he was the first trained guy, or at least somebody who had a modicum of training.
Right.
That I had met and became really good friends with. I met him through my friend Dustin, who wrestles as Joey Warner.
Yes.
And we wound up, because I think he was dating his friends. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
I met him through them. And he wound up doing backyard wrestling with us for a year. And he was just so good. He was smooth. And the thing that was neat, and I would ask him, I was like, well, where'd you go and whatnot? He's like, he trained with Knuckles Nelson on Salisbury Beach.
Nice.
But if you recall from your Knuckles Nelson interview, I think he's been on one or more times.
Yes.
I sent in a question, do you have any stories about Billy Wolf?
Right.
Which was Shane Sharp's name, and he didn't recall him.
Yeah.
And that's really the only thing, that's really like the only Knuckles Nelson story I have is
Right.
that Billy trained with him. And then according to Billy, like one day Knuckles just up and disappeared.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but like that's how I heard the name Knuckles Nelson for the first time in Salisbury Beach
Right.
and all that stuff. And him and I, he convinced me to leave the backyard and go to training. Him and I together went to Chaotic Training Center
Yep.
in 2004. And that on that first day, it was
that Coach Hollow?
It would have been, but I don't think I've ever met Coach Hollow, to be perfectly honest with you, because I didn't have enough money to pay for the classes during the week, so I was a weekend only. And on the weekend, you had Kowalski outside the ring, and you had like Warbeard and
Slick.
Slick
Slick was
there.
already gone?
It was already gone by then. But like, so you had those guys.
Yeah.
Ciampa was just coming back from a shoulder injury. He wasn't
Okay.
training. He wasn't teaching. He was training. Stuff like that. So him and I, and that's why I met Tim Kilgore.
Yep.
It was my first day. It was Tim Kilgore and Jay Blade sitting to my right as we're listening to Tom Pritchard talking about showing your ass.
Nice, Tom Pritchard.
I still have all my notes from that.
Do you
seminar.
really?
Yeah. So yeah, Shane Sharp, he was my only friend when the world fell apart, is one way to put it. Back in 2003, and it's not a story we'll tell here, but back in 2003, you know how you feel when you're in high school, everything is forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I felt like my entire world fell apart. And he was, and then I came back and then it fell apart again. And he was the only one that stuck with me.
Nice.
And, I haven't talked to him in a long time and I miss him. But I reach out every so often. We have a hey, hello, or sometimes
does he still wrestle at all?
No,
I was going to say, I haven't seen his name in a while.
Max Smashmaster convinced him to leave the business.
Ah, God, Max.
and that's my mention of him today.
All right.
By the way, disclaimer: that is just what I heard from other people on that list.
All right, sounds good. All right, how about Vanity Vixen? I'm going to try to go to names that I know that you're going to give me a good answer to. That we both know.
Oh, let me tell you. No, she's a sweetheart.
She is.
Her and Amato. I don't want to say I was on their shit list for a long time, but there was a minor thing that happened right before Elkmania 2, because my cousin Desiree was training at the Chaotic School, or New England Pro Wrestling Academy, and he was teaching the brand new students, and there was a bit of a falling out there. Both sides have a story. You understand. Yep. At the time, obviously, I'm like, all right, what's my cousin saying?
Exactly.
And
family.
So he got booked for Elkmania, and then he said some unkind things about like Tony Spencer and my cousin, I guess. I don't remember. That's the thing.
Right.
Long story short, there was an issue for a moment. I didn't hear from them for years. Bumped into them at APW, and I said, "Do you remember?" And he was like, "No." And I'm just like, well, let me remind you, and bury it. And ever since, him and I have been really cool. So
that's right.
And same with Jen. So like Jen's always been a sweetheart to me. Obviously after anything that had happened had been talked
of
through.
course.
It was nothing. It was
right. And Amato was a great guy.
Yeah,
so I could easily see him bury it himself.
I have no issues with Amato.
Nice. Okay. Cool. How about the voice of New England, Rich Palladino?
Oh, okay. Rich is a really, really nice guy. I met him for the first time at New England Fan Fest.
That was the first time you met him?
That was the first time I met him.
Wow.
Because despite being around the business since 2006, not very well traveled. And Rich is kind of if you've noticed, Rich works for the really good promotions.
He does. He does, though.
And I haven't been a part of those. So it's my own fault. Trust me, I know.
Right.
But Rich and I met at FanFest, and we had, it was at the Hall of Fame, I think, or something. We had a chance to speak for a moment.
Yep. And
because he was hanging out with some of my guys, and I just sat down and we were talking or whatever. And I I said something to the effect of, because I knew my time at the time. I didn't know I knew I had a bad neck and a bad shoulder and everything, but I didn't know to the extent of what.
So you kind of knew you were coming to the end.
I knew I was coming to the end, and we were just, we were talking, and I said, it'd be really cool if I could have Rich Palladino announce me on my last night.
That'd be pretty cool.
And he's like, where do you run? And I'm like, usually Peabody and sometimes in Rhode Island when the Chop Shop was still around. And he's like, well, if you do that match at the Chop Shop, just give me a call. I'll come down and do it for nothing. And I'm just like, I just met you. I don't know you from you don't know me from a hole in a wall, and you offered to do that.
Yeah.
Ace guy for me. So
absolutely.
That's an A+ guy.
A lot of people used to use Howard Finkel to do their weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get married again someday. I gave my girlfriend a ring over 2 years ago. Took me 14 years to give it to her.
Well, there's your mistake.
Yeah.
You bought a ring.
Yeah. But I think if I do it, though, I think I'm going to have Rich introduce the wedding party, man. I can't. I have to, man.
Yeah.
It's the only chance I'd have to interview. You know what I mean? To introduce me. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not in the business.
When you said the voice of professional wrestling, I'm like, you're not going to say Bobby Rossi, are you?
No, I like Bobby, though, but no.
I love his new T-shirt. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drove Sean up the other day.
I know.
That was awesome, though. It was great to see him. I didn't know he was back. I love Bobby.
I'll bust
I love all those guys you introduced me to. Pretty much you did.
Bobby let me in on the fact that he was back, and I'm just like, you're looking for work, aren't you, Bobby? Like, isn't that what this is? So, no, I like Bobby. Him and I have, I've said this before on the show. Like, I apologize to anybody watching. I might kind of return over some stuff, but it might be extrapolated more.
Yeah. But
like Bobby and I, we had an interesting start to our relationship. How many bad feet can you get off on? So, well, depending on what website you visit.
That's true.
But him and I, I wouldn't exactly say we patched things up. Nothing was broken.
Right.
We just figured each other out, and we've been cool since, and I like Bobby. I don't have a problem with Bobby.
Everybody you told me, though, like you'd say, this guy's a good guy. You really like him and all that. Every single one of them, you are 100% right. Like Derek, Delilah, Dick, all those guys.
By the way, every time
Sean?
I say I don't have a problem with somebody, take a shot.
You'll be here all day.
I'll be here all day.
All right, Sully Banger.
I don't have a problem with Sully Banger. No, Sully Banger. I met Sully through a bunch of the guys.
Yep.
And
now he runs a company. What company is that again?
Providence Wrestle Party.
Thank you.
And they run out of the AS 220 in Rhode Island, Providence. Really nice space. Nice. And they've got a great what we refer to as a great hipster audience. They like being out. They get a live band to play.
Really?
So even if you don't like the wrestling, you got a live band playing
booze.
Oh yeah, Narragansett all the way.
You can't go wrong.
I don't know anything about it. Is it good? I have no idea. Is beer good?
Yeah, beer's excellent.
Is beer okay?
Yeah, beer's excellent.
No, Sully, I brought him into the Proving Ground, which there's another show I'm working on called Proving Ground, The Lost Levels, coming soon to YouTube, where I'm finally going back to the stuff I filmed in Salisbury, because I filmed out of the APW training building for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it was a good 100 or so matches that just never saw the light of day, because I when we got to level 1, when we started doing live shows, I just basically did a soft reboot.
Right.
So it's just like, all right, we don't need to go back to that right this second. And now that, COVID happened and I've had all this time, and it's just like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. I got this, I got that. And let's finally touch this footage, right? So we go back to that, and the first match I was editing was him and Dick Lane, where they were fighting over an imaginary gun. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Sully has been through the Proving Ground a couple of times, and I hope to have him through some more when the time comes. And a genuine individual.
Nice.
A cobbler,
I'd like to get him on the show sometime. I have never met you, Sully. Looking forward to meeting you someday. Speaking of a guy that I had never met before and then came up to me at a Beyond show in Worcester, about Donnie Rotten. You know Donnie Rotten at all?
I don't have a problem with Donnie. No.
Take another shot, guys.
I've never met Donnie Rotten, but I have been accosted by Calvin Campbell at more than one dinner about book me against Donnie Rotten. Can I wrestle Donnie Rotten? And I'm
Donnie
just
Rotten's
like,
awesome.
I don't know him.
Right.
All I know are the stories.
Yes. But if you look at him, he looks like he just got off the stage from a slaughter, like he's in Slaughter.
He looks
like Warrant or something. His hair's down. He's got great hair.
That wrestler, Ron Zombie,
Yeah.
Looks like he could be his younger brother.
Absolutely.
Or, I don't know, something.
His brothers.
See, I've learned in the last little while, you bust balls about people that you know.
Right.
And I don't know him. So I'm just going to say, seems like a nice guy. Lot of interesting stories.
Yeah.
Never met him.
Okay, great. How about somebody I know you like, Tom Billington?
How do you know I like him?
Because he's right there.
Just because I made a toy of him, he paid me.
Oh, he
Gave me
did?
money.
All right.
I mean, that is true, but I love Tom Billington.
You don't have a problem with him.
No, I don't have a problem with Tom Billington. Take a drink. Wrong camera. Take a drink. There it is. Tom and I, we are very, I want to use the term kindred spirits at this point.
Okay.
Because him and I, like in the world full of strange characters, him and I bond on a very, very rare level.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, you're like me.
Right.
Okay, I get it. And he's the Swiss Army knife of the proving ground, because it's like, if he's not in the ring, he's working guerrilla, he's working the music, he's working the effects, he's editing, he's doing this, he's doing that. He's everything that you could ever ask for. And once again, he's one of those guys like myself, where when you hear the name Todd Graham or Derek Simonetti, the last thing you might think of wrestling, but you won't think of as a wrestler.
Okay.
You'd be like, oh, Tom Billington, he's a great guy. It's never Tom Billington. He's one of the best workers I've ever seen. And honestly, I have been slowly going through since I've finished wrestling. I've been slowly going through all the matches I've considered my favorites, and his match with me was actually one of, if not my last singles match before the surgery.
Right.
I rank in the top 3.
Nice.
Which means it's 3rd. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Anytime anyone
top
goes,
3 is usually 1, 2, or 3. Tom.
Anytime someone goes, and you can tell whenever you're talking to somebody, it's like, oh yeah, that's one of the top, and they pause for a second and they pick a number. Oh, that's one of the top 10 matches I've ever seen. So it's 10.
Right.
If they said top 5, it's 5.
You're right.
Yeah. So
because if it was 1, you'd say that's my favorite match.
That's my favorite match. That's the best match I've ever seen. If somebody goes, that's in my top 2 favorite matches, it's 2.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
But Tom Billington's the man.
Okay. How about, I'm probably going to butcher your name, but I think I'm going to get it right this time. Nicole Matala. Did I get that right?
Yes. Toyota Tacoma.
Yes. She's a nice kid.
She is.
She really is.
I've been in a handful of locker rooms with her. She's great. And the first time I saw her, she was doing, was it the daughter of Sergeant
I only
Muldoon?
seen her as the character she is now.
Yeah, she used to be, I apologize, but I forget the original gimmick, but it was like wrestling secret weapon or something like that. Sergeant Muldoon's daughter or something, from Showcase.
Yeah.
I don't believe they're related, and if they are, great work.
Right.
But she started doing Nicole Matala, and she switched where she was training, which I can't push enough. Like, if I could give you a perfect example of somebody who does that, it's Brett Ryan Goslin.
Okay.
Because Brett started at Showcase, and then he went to the Kingdom with Taven, and then he started working with Top Rope. And he's got, like, every place you go to, and I've gone to 2 places.
Yep.
And every place you go to teaches you different stuff and teaches you differently.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Would you believe there's 17 ways to put yourself in a hammerlock? So Brett's been going here and here and here, and if he lands somewhere else or does something else, I wouldn't be surprised. But the fact of the matter is, he keeps getting better.
He is getting better. He really is.
And he's
really good.
He's still a nauseating adolescent, so he's got time,
plenty of time.
Nicole Matala started with Showcase, if I'm not mistaken, and then moved over to working with Brickhouse Baker, and combining the 2 bits of knowledge, she got significantly more sharp.
Right.
And hopefully, when things get back to normal, she'll continue to. I know she's still working in different places. Well,
she worked the 3 shows for Jimmy Allen, because I was there all 3 of them. I catered for
and NWW,
yeah, but she worked them all.
Yeah,
that's where I actually got to know her, talking to her there. She's very nice.
Yeah, no, she's always been sweet to me.
Yep.
And we've had a handful of conversations. She likes tacos. I know that much.
Right.
Nachos, not tacos. Nachos.
Ah,
that's what it is. So it's almost every post for a good 6 months was about nachos. So I'm just like, all right, I'm vibing with you.
I like nachos, though.
I like food.
I like nachos.
It shows.
Yeah, me too.
They say the camera adds 10 pounds. Well, there's 3 cameras on us.
Yep. So we're not looking
that's
too
the
good.
excuse.
We're not looking too good right now. No.
So,
all right, how about this? Christian Angus.
All right, so Joe Puffer. Joe Puffer.
That's his real name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I used to watch Christian when he wrestled for Lobster Man and Mav and stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's
I thought he was very good.
I met him at Front Row.
Okay. I thought he was very good.
Because I went to train with Mav for Front Row Wrestling, and
That's right.
and we would, Christian was there. Christian was like their head production guy in a matter of speaking. Like he was the one with the camera, so he would make the DVDs of the show. By the way, that's another thing I could probably announce. I got the okay from Mav. All of the Front Row Wrestling shows and footage that I have will be released on my channel.
Nice.
So
that's
as
awesome.
far as I know, it's the first time any of that's really
Yeah.
seen the light of day in a long, long time. So, because, it was Tony Spencer's one of my guys.
Right,
and,
right. And you like Mav, though. And he helped train you and stuff.
I don't have a problem with Maverick
No,
Wild.
not at all. I don't either. He has an open invitation to be a guest anytime he wants on this show.
You say that every time I'm here.
It's the truth.
I know it is. He's on every other episode, Leo.
I know. Did you see what Jerry Lane did? Like when I said I was going to have Sonny and Mav.
Dick Lane's cousin?
Yeah. No, it's older uncle.
Oh, okay.
Because Jerry Lane. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just forgot which make-believe relation he was.
So he turns around and he says something to the effect like, of course it is, right?
Yeah.
Mav's like, what is that supposed to mean? And you see Jerry, I can practically see a backpedal in typing. No, Mav, it's because you and Sonny are always on the show. That's all. I was just saying that.
I remember Mav told me a story, and I think I spoke with him the other day about one story that I had heard him tell, and I thought it was his story, but it turned out to be Antonio Thomas.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure this is his. He was in a tag team match or something like that, and he was going to go over for the tag titles in a territory where the tag team champions were like super over.
Right.
And his partner at the time, I forget the details, but his partner at the time or somebody smartened him up and he's like, they're really big here, so what you got to do, you might cause a riot when you take the titles off of them. So when you win the match, take the belt and start killing the marks if they come near you. Like whatever, right? So, and Mav can correct me if this is not his story, but they win the match. He grabs the tag title and he is swinging the belt around his head like a goddamn lunatic. There's nobody coming near him. There's nothing going on. I don't know if he got worked or whatever, but it's just, can you just imagine, like, we just won the tag team titles.
But you know something? Mav might have been working him, knowing that guy was trying to work, so Mav said, I'll just do it.
No doubt.
No
doubt, because Scott's that guy. So
he is.
So it's like, how do you describe Maverick Wild? Certifiable.
Do you know who I think he could help a lot, honestly? A lot of guys, don't get me wrong, but CJ Cruz. If you ever watch CJ Cruz wrestle, he's got like a quirkiness to him.
Yeah.
I think Mav could help him.
It's the right lot. They have a very similar type of humor.
You know what I mean? I really do think he could help him a lot.
I think Mav, I don't know. I know he
just went to the chaotic school.
He just went to the chaotic school, but I don't know if he was going there to teach or to work out because I've heard different things. When you get a text at 3:00 in the morning, you think me and Dick Lane could work real well? And I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but do you think Dale's gonna let him? I mean, the guy's had so many. Mav, I love you, guy, but seriously, you can't get back in the ring. I can't get back in the ring. I want anything to happen to my friend.
I am under the impression that Dale loves her husband.
She does.
So, despite everything, Dale
she loves him.
Loves her husband, and Mav has always been a class act to me. So I say all of that in good fun because that's what you got to do these days.
Yeah,
you have to preface every joke you say with just so you know,
right?
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
but anyway,
because everyone's like babies.
I told him, I said, I think it'd be a great match, to be perfectly honest with you. And Dick worked.
I think it would be good.
Dick worked with Johnny Vegas, and it was pretty good. So,
nice.
And he's like, oh, he worked with John. I'm like, yes, he worked with John. So
Dick's gotten much better over the last couple of years too, though.
Well, that's what happens when you wrestle 17 times a weekend,
right? No, I hear you.
He broke his foot and still made all shots. He
loves wrestling.
He did it in a boot and he didn't work, but he was still there, brother.
You sound just like him.
I know.
I was wondering when he came in and was sitting right there. I was wondering if that was a work. His talk like as a wrestler. And then the minute he started talking, I was like, nope, that's him.
Only after 2 Blue Hawaiians.
Well, he likes blue Hawaiians.
Oh my God.
That's my favorite drink, dude.
We'd every time, because we'd always wind up at an Applebee's
Dick,
after
we're
a show.
going out for blue Hawaiians.
Every show after an Applebee's, after every show we'd wind up at an Applebee's, and we're like, let me get the blue Hawaiian, and whatever, right? So he'd be like 2 blue Hawaiians, and one night they must have made him real strong or something, because he started doing this thing we like to call NASDAQ, where he started talking about the stock report.
Okay.
And it was just like, right at the beginning of the night, yes, I'll take a blue Hawaiian. By the end of the night, the NASDAQ is down 6 points. And I'm just like, what? Where did that come from?
And then from the blue Hawaiians.
And then every other like I've spent time with Dick away from wrestling, and that's what he sounds like.
Right.
He sounds like a conehead.
Yeah.
He's from France.
Right.
So.
What?
No, the coneheads are from France, Leonardo. So like, every once in a while, I'm like, yes, Ramulak, got it. So anybody, the Steve Martin.
Yeah,
anybody
the Steve Martin.
Yes.
All
so
right.
yeah, blue Hawaiians.
Okay, listen, just so you know, we got 31 minutes and we've only got like 7 names gone.
No surprises.
You told me at the beginning you wanted to bang these out.
I told. Well, I got stories for all of them.
Time. You know that.
Yeah.
All right, Isana,
sweetheart, an absolute sweetheart.
the suplex sweetheart.
Yeah, no, never mind that. She's a sweetheart.
Is she? Good.
And she'll pardon my language, but every once in a while she'll catch a bunch of shit for being powerful in her beliefs.
Right.
And those beliefs aren't wrong. I agree with her on everything. I
Right.
just go about things, I just don't like doing stuff on the internet.
Right. No, I hear
But she is a very strong-willed woman and very wonderful. She is
nice.
I
follow her on Twitter.
I'm sure sure a lot of guys do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But she has always she's always been cool to me and always come she's always been really nice to me in times where she didn't have to.
Right.
So yeah, she's a wonderful lady.
Awesome.
She'll go to if you are her friend
Yeah.
and you have her respect, she will go to bat for you, and that is important.
Nice. Okay. How about T Phoenix?
I don't have no. T is like a brother, and we met way later than we should have. We met at one of the Fenway shows, but we'd been running parallel for a decade.
That's why I would have thought you would have known each other a lot longer than that.
Like RWA and PZW at the time, which is what I had done from 2007 to 2011, 2012.
Right.
We were running pretty parallel in the sense that, we could have probably worked together. And in fact, I mentioned it on the Mike Montero podcast that there was a time where we could have met back in like 2010 because one of the tag teams from my group got, picked up to be in this underground tag team tournament, and it just never materialized.
Right.
But if it had, I'd have met all those cats real early. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't necessarily care for the person I was then.
Right.
Compared to the person I was when I met them maybe 4 or 5 years later.
Right.
So, I think everything happens for a reason, and timing is as it is. And if it wasn't for T Phoenix, the Proving Ground wouldn't be moving forward the way it has been.
Okay.
He gave us his building, he gave us his assistance, his help. He worked my shows. He once again a lot like Tom Billington.
Yeah.
Like whenever I have real questions to ask about the business, not the business, but like whenever I have real questions to ask about my business, about what I should be doing, I reach out to those two first.
Right.
So, because they, I trust
that tells a lot.
I trust their opinion, and they don't bullshit.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I have T Phoenix on my podcast, it'll be the last podcast I do, because he's going to burn every bridge. He just doesn't. He's not negatively, but I mean, like, remember, you have to clarify. No, he's very outspoken, and he doesn't care if your feelings are hurt. So if he's right, he's right. That's it.
Okay.
So
I want to bring up this name, and then I'm going to ask you a question about him afterwards. Freight Train.
Met him in the backyard in 2005. Like I came back to my backyard group because I had left, gotten training, and then decided, I don't think I'm ready to do this. And I went back, and I'm just like, I'm way more ready than I thought I was. Right. Because why am I back here? But I met him my first day back, and when I first met him, he was one of those. My friend Chris and I, we refer to him as Bigfoot stories. Yeah. where it's like somebody tells a story about like, I met this guy and everyone's like, pictures or it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, that's not how this works. Not everybody had pictures.
Right.
But he was the kind of guy that he walked into the group, and I think he swayed a lot of people with these Bigfoot stories that he couldn't substantiate.
Right.
Like he once told us he was Doink.
Come on.
You know,
yeah.
He's like,
I mean, I had enough of that with Derek Dukes lying his ass off on this.
Is that the guy who cut himself with a belt in the picture? And is that the same guy?
Yeah, that's the guy. He cut a promo. It was ridiculous.
Well,
we'll talk about it. Let's not even give him anything. Exactly.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
I don't have a but no. When Matt and I met, he was very much like, yeah, I did this, I did that, and then years and years later, I'm just like, you're full of shit, right? And he's just like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
He was trying to get one over on you
he
guys.
didn't admit it. Sorry if I'm not telling. Oops, I tell a lie. No. But no, him and I, over the years, it calmed down, and then I saw him at WAW because his kid was trying out at WAW back when
Caleb Manson.
Yes.
Caleb, right? Not Caleb.
Caleb.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Back when that was happening, and he was basically tried out with him.
Right.
And which I realize there are some people watching this going, WAW had tryouts? No,
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I went there. I told him afterwards, it's like, when I heard you were coming, I came to see a train wreck.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, because I'm like, dude, you're like in your 40s, and that's a boxing ring. What are you doing? And then I came and I saw, and I'm just like, I got to apologize to you. You didn't even know I felt this way, but I'm going to tell you I'm going to bury myself before I tell you I was wrong. So, yeah. So I saw him and I was like, oh, so he's got some gas. So he's got some gas in him. So, him and I set up a match together at some point before the surgery. Something like that. It was before the surgery. Because, I didn't realize what was happening yet. And, if I decide to do some more work, I'll probably check his name off my list just for fun of it.
Nice. Now, the question I have you gone to his barbecues?
Yes.
Because I got an invitation.
Yes.
It looks like a party that you should miss, man. I mean, that is what he's telling me. Everything's going to be there.
Now, as a non-drinker,
right?
I miss out on half of the fun. Somebody who doesn't do the marijuana.
Dude, why? Why don't you?
Because my body is a castle, and I've been filling it with burgers.
I was gonna. No, but
no, it was just never my bag. That's
I hear.
all. That's all. And
I have friends that the same way.
It caused a lot of issues growing up.
Did it?
You don't get invited out very much if you don't imbibe. So, and to each their own.
Right.
But the long and short of it is that I think I can sum up his party with he's got a pool. So if you don't,
no, he said there's karaoke, all kinds of food. I mean,
it depends on who goes.
But I already told my governor about it. I said, listen, you're not going to know anybody there, but I can get pretty friggin' drunk and you can drive me home.
Well, that's the best part about doing karaoke when you walk into it. Like, if you're going to do karaoke, do it out of state because no one knows you.
I'm actually pretty good at karaoke, to be honest with you. I'm not even joking. I only sing songs that I can sing.
Listen, I'm a professional singer. I walk in,
I know, I've watched you.
I walk into and by the way, the term professional means I've made $1 at doing it. That's
there you go. You made more money than I have.
I started my band Familiar Strangers in 2012 with my friend Kenny Nessel, Adam's brother.
Yep.
And we used to take all the money from the shows and put it in the band fund. And then we were like, we'll only use this for like band related stuff. Well, anyway, we haven't really been doing anything for the last 2 years because I've said this before, depression kind of took away my interest to play music. And so you'll see me once in a while do stuff. But Kenny comes to me and he's like, we got like $1,300 in the band fund just sitting in my garage. And he's like, I'm just going to split it up and give it to you. So I got like stripper bundle of ones.
Nice. When are we going? Where'd you already go? There's a couple places I want to check out.
Yeah, knowing me, I'll probably just wind up at like Hooters with T Phoenix.
That's sad.
It is.
Right. Nothing against you, T. That he's picking you over strippers.
I'm pretty sure that's where I got COVID.
I think T's gonna go. He's gonna be like, "Why are we meeting here? Let's go to the strip bar." Oh,
let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure T would be the one going, "We're going to Hooters." What do you mean?
All right, let's get into these names again. Coach C.
Young. No, he's wonderful. He is a better wrestler when it comes to the social media than every wrestler I've ever met combined.
Yeah. No, he is good with social media.
You want to talk about getting over? I don't even think he can shave yet.
Right.
And he's
a senior, right? This year?
I think so.
I think he's a senior.
I think so.
He told me that.
But like, let's put it this way: if he can keep up that momentum and keep his pulse, finger on the pulse and everything of everything, like the TikToks and the Snapchats.
Right.
I probably already sound old because I don't know what's new.
Yeah, neither.
But like the kid, if he stays as diligent as he has been, and sometimes he rubs people the wrong way. But people have to remember he's a kid.
Right. And he grew up in the business.
His dad is the Wolverine.
Exactly.
Which didn't mean anything to me until I went to RWA because I believe it was like Rhode Island.
I had only heard about him from the magazines, him and Danger Boy Alfredo. They were always in, like for any local New England guys, they were always in magazines.
Yeah.
In results and things like that.
Yeah.
So I finally got to meet him at the New England
Fan Fest, yeah.
And he was really cool, man. That was really nice to meet him.
I got a kick out of that. His kid had a table.
Yeah.
And he was sitting at it.
Actually, I want to get him and his kid on the show.
Oh,
part of my special series I want to do.
Yeah,
I think that would be really good.
I think it would be too. And
you just said he's pretty smart.
He's a smart kid. He's very well spoken. It's kind of like AJP. AJP could be in Mensa.
Smart kid.
Yep. This is little AJP could be in Mensa.
Look at it. He looks exactly like him though.
And he swivels.
At that. And he just put in a 2-week notice, I heard.
Yeah, he no longer owns a McDonald's.
Yeah, no longer.
Tiverton. So,
all right. How about Jody Threat?
On my short list for future because
she's really good.
There is, obviously the big thing in independent wrestling. If you pay attention to the trends, the biggest thing in independent wrestling right now, as far as attracting attention on the YouTubes, and I've done my research, Beyond, Limitless, all the stuff around here anyway. The intergender stuff is big.
It's popular.
So I have a short list of women's talent that I'd like to bring in. Not to be, I don't like the term at this point because of how the world is going and whatnot. You kind of look at things differently, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't look at Corinne Mink, for example, as a women's wrestler. She's a woman who's a wrestler.
Right.
She's a wrestler. I would much rather put, I have more fun watching her beat the tar out of a Sean Leader or a Dick Lane, Same thing with people like, because obviously I've had Corinne Mink through, I've had Delilah Hayden and
Isana
and Kennedy and
Copeland.
Yes, Kennedy Copeland. I've had them through the Proving Ground over the course of time. And
Ciara too.
Not yet. She's once again she's a wonderful lady. I don't know how she's healing up right now because she hurt herself. It was a poison rana, and as the story that's a great story that's not mine to tell.
Right.
But which I may have already told it on the show
Brett
anyway.
Might have said
Brett might have. Okay,
I think he covered it.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
God damn that Channing Thomas. But Jody Threat, Karen Bam Bam.
Yep.
I know Big Juicy's on the list. Somebody mentioned Big Juicy.
Yep.
Let's put it this way. I keep seeing her name. I want to get Kennedy back through.
Right. It's a good way to get through these names too, like the name.
Yeah, just why do you think I'm doing this?
All right.
No, we only got 19 minutes.
And 18 seconds.
I come on and say I want to do the name game and then just do stories.
Right.
But Ava and Angel. I mean, I know Ava's living out in Florida.
Yeah.
Because she moved with AG when he went, and then
she came back to drop the belt.
Yes. But the thing is I'm sure she'll be back to do other stuff.
Oh yeah,
too.
I'm sure.
I can't imagine she's just like, well, I'm giving up wrestling.
Right. No doubt. And plus, I mean, her family's still there.
Oh yeah,
both their families are still around here. So
exactly.
When she comes back, she can always work.
Exactly. So, but I have a short list of the women's wrestlers that I'd like to have through because I see their work and I really enjoy their work.
Right.
And I think that a lot of independents, like obviously like Beyond and Basic Becca.
Yep.
Absolutely. All three of the Mean Girls essentially. Paris Van Dale.
Yep.
Mean Kathleen.
I was just gonna say Little Mean Kathleen.
And I hope if I ever book Paris Van Dale, I hope she brings that Armani chaos with her.
Yes.
Because I've said this somewhere. It might have been my podcast, but it's like he is adorable.
Right.
And I say it like that because they did an NCW show, and that was the first time I was exposed to all three of them. And he was managing Paris, and I'm just like, okay, I like this. The power dynamic is kind of switched, and he's just so happy. He's just so happy to be there. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just like, that's what we need.
Yeah, no, he's been doing really well on the Reloaded shows.
That's
I've
great.
seen him on, you know.
That's great.
Seeing that we're talking about that, what do you think about Chase Del Monte now owning everything? Owning Chaotic, owning the Chaotic, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
Mean, let's put it this way, and I'm sure that Chase would agree. I think we all wish it could have come about under better circumstances.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
But Kevin, like, let's put it this way: when I started and he won't remember me at all, and that's fine. I've had very few interactions with him. Like I said, I went to Chaotic. My first night was Cold Fury 4. That was the night of the Tom Pritchard camp. So he was Chase Del Monte Beans, and he was, he had the T-shirt that said Chase Del Monte, and just looked like a can of beans. And he was coming out to Bad Medicine, and and I'm just like, this guy's great. You know, just even before I saw him work, I was just like, this guy's great. Him and the Logans.
Yep.
You know, and by the way,
best friends.
If the Logans are still taking outside work, I've got another team from Lowell that really, really wants to get in the ring with them. So if I could ever be responsible for booking the Battle of Lowell, I could die happy. Just because I think the Logans versus the Middlesex Express would be an incredible match.
I'd love to see that.
And the thing is, it's just, you want to look. I was basically married to the Steves for 9 months because of the New England tag titles and PG. Yep. You know, we wrestled each other in about 6 to 7 different places over those belts, you know. So we, you know, I've had a chance to dance with the Steves, and just to be clear,
they're very talented.
And just to be clear, I know that there might be some talk out there about the Steves, in the sense that, well, which one's Steve 1, which one's Steve 2? It's like, no, they are Steve. Both of them are uniquely wonderful.
Right.
And
they're different guys.
Especially since,
do you know what I mean? They might be attacked, but they're like they don't even have the same personality.
No, not at all. They are two completely different people and two completely different types of talent.
Which makes a great dynamic.
It meshed so well.
It's
they're the Midnight Express.
Oh,
because like when you look at the original Midnights, like, the original...
Randy Rose, Dennis Condrey, or are you talking Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton?
Condrey and Eaton.
Okay.
They're very different types of guys.
Yes.
You know?
Very different.
When it was Bobby and Stan, all right, maybe they were kind of similar.
Yeah, I think they were a little different there, too, because Bobby's so shy while Stan's like a ladies' man.
Well, yeah, the lines are... people think he's Evan Dando. The line's around the corner.
Yep.
But no, but that's the thing. The Steves, they are, and especially like once Broad started doing Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon, and trying to create this new thing, and then Lusty was kind of like, well, I kind of got to create my own thing now, and they became even more unique. So putting them together again and putting them with the Logans would be an amazing match, and hopefully putting it out in the universe.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Get a conversation started.
Is he throwing cinnamon in people's faces?
Yes.
Damn, that must burn, dude. If it gets in your mouth, you can't taste. Like, people think you can take cinnamon and just like shake it in your mouth and it tastes good.
I've asked him about it, and you know what he's told me? Doesn't bother him.
Of course not. Oh, I can't wait till he goes throw it and someone goes, blows it back in his face.
That always used to be my favorite thing when I was wrestling.
He lied to me.
When I was wrestling as a heel. I'd gouge someone's eyes like, you can't do that. I'm like, he didn't see it.
Right.
You know, so what are we fighting about?
I asked him if he was a certain little somebody with a mask, a green mask on and stuff, and did my show, and he won't admit that it was him. The
person who played that character did do your show, but it ain't him.
It ain't him. So he was right.
Who am I to say?
Wow.
Last time I checked, that particular character had tattoos.
That person needed a ride to Lowell.
I don't know.
Wow. All right. I think I might know who it is. All right, let's get back to the names. Right. Judge Logan Chambers. Try to also bring up names I don't bring up a lot.
Right. And
I know you know.
Judge is also Theodore Liftington. He's on the list twice. So...
See, I don't say that.
Obviously, I use the Theodore Liftington character more
Right.
in my shows. I love what he does, and he is very much. In the world of wrestling, when you're running shows, you need a little bit of everything. You need a little bit of that variety show. Like
Right,
Ring
right.
of Honor captured lightning in a bottle with their extremely technical. You'll see every single move you've ever heard of in the first 2 matches,
Yep.
and it'll probably include Chad Collier and Matt Stryker. And
At the very beginning, the early days, it did.
absolutely, I was going back watching that
Yep.
stuff. It was great, but like. There was also, you also had, since we're on Ring of Honor, you also had the Christopher Street connection.
Yes.
And they were
Great guys, man.
they were doing the gay gimmick, but
Yeah.
they were also the entertainment gimmick.
Yes.
And before I put this down,
And they did a little comedy too. They had some comedy in there. Like you
Exactly.
said, entertainment. Yeah, the comedy.
exactly.
Yep.
And Judge, when he's Judge, he is a very stern
Yep.
and brutal character, but a character.
Right.
And when he's Liftington, he's a very jovial and entertaining character,
Nice.
but he's a character. And
Yeah.
the wonderful thing about him is that he can do both.
Yep. That
He-
is cool.
He is a wonderful character that the kids love.
Yep. Now,
That-
which one is that? That's
Liftington,
Right.
that can also really get it done in the ring. And before COVID hit, he was really beginning to change what he was doing and adding different stuff. It's like I'd never see. He does the triple. He does this move called the triple Lindy. It's basically the whisper in the wind from the second rope.
Okay.
And I'm just like, he's a big guy,
He is a big guy.
you know. But like, I love him. I'm glad to have him on the show.
I'd love to get him on the show here someday
Oh,
too.
he'd be so
yeah.
entertaining.
I think I'll look into that. How about Todd Sopel?
I don't have a problem with it. No. Listen, we've talked about Todd on the show
Yes,
a
we
lot. So I'll make this one quick.
Yeah.
I hope whatever he's doing it well, and he's
Nice.
okay. That's it.
Cool. All right. How about one of my favorite young wrestlers right now who's starting to kill it himself also? Alec Price.
What a piece of shit. No, I've been using that no gimmick on this show a lot.
Did you watch his appearance here? Because Dick must have bleeped it out, but he said something really crazy. I'll tell you after.
Okay. Alec is he's on my short list for male wrestlers I'd like to bring in.
It's good.
He actually, I went to a big time show in the last 2 years, and he's
Yeah.
like, "When am I getting the invite to the Proving Ground?" And I'm just like, "If you want to come, you know, we can,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult.
Right.
You like working for a handshake? We do have hot dogs, you know." So, but no, I think we've talked, and I saw him early in 2020 against Basic Becca, and I was just like, I'm booking both of them,
Yeah,
or at least I'm
she's-
going to try.
She's getting really good too.
She's
The
getting
new
way better,
chaotic
yes.
women's champion.
Yeah, it's got scrunchies all over it.
And this Thursday, she's taking on Willow Nightingale, who I haven't seen wrestling
my Lord.
around here in a long time.
Well, I mean, she broke her neck at one point, I
Right.
think.
Yep.
You know, but like she's
She was good, man.
very good. She's
So.
very, very good.
All right. Stephen Baker.
The King.
Yep.
Oh,
Leon.
Leon Moon.
Leon.
He's Dickie Moon's older brother now.
That's who he's calling. He's going with the moon.
He's going with Leon Moon.
Okay, because he had said when he was there, I was like, he's like, yeah, just Leon.
He's an idiot. You got to understand. No, him and I, we've talked about this before on his podcast, and if you listen to me talk long enough, we've talked about it. We had a bit of a clash over creative, but personally, we were always cool. And he got a bad rap for a little while, and he owned up to it.
Right.
And he was, as we do, and he's a very, very talented individual. And I think in his case, and I don't think he'd be upset with me to say this, I could be wrong about that, but in his case, he is a perfect example of someone who was in the business for a short period of time and blew up to a certain extent.
Yep.
And then let it expand his brain, or his head anyway.
Right.
And,
Now he's back.
stuff happens. He's
Yep.
back, and based on conversations I've had with him, it seems like he's on the right track. So
Yeah, he was sitting here not too long ago, and we had a nice conversation, and he
Yeah.
pretty much said that about himself.
yeah,
You know?
that's what I mean. I'm not
Yeah.
telling tales out of school when I say this.
Right.
So
Okay. JT Dunn,
I really don't.
controversial guy.
He is a very controversial guy. Truth is, none of the stories I've heard are mine,
Okay.
and I don't know
That's
him.
cool.
So personally, I don't have a problem with JT
Right.
Dunn.
Michael G. Morse.
See how long the pause can get
That
before
was
it
a
becomes.
long pause. Uncomfortable?
All right, look, let's be real. I only owe you 2 shows. You came on this show and said 3. I've been waiting for months to say this. No, he is. He was very kind.
Yeah.
He's very easy to work with. I ruffled a feather or 2 with my last appearance on this show, but I think everything's all cool in that regard. But his daughter and I dated for a bit.
Okay.
And so, I learned a lot about Michael, like from him.
Right.
And it was just like, oh, this is okay. So he's brand new. And I remember one time his name came up on the podcast, not the podcast here.
Yeah.
And I said something to the effect of, he's green and he just needs to keep working.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if he did that show in New Hampshire.
Yep. In Derry.
And you gotta understand, like, for whatever reason, there's been a forbidden door to New Hampshire when it comes to wrestling. And Michael took a chance to find out what exactly this pertains to. And when he realized it was nothing, he was just like, oh, what's everyone complaining about? Get a $15 wrestling license.
Exactly. I don't see why the wrestlers wouldn't want to do it just to have it.
Yeah.
In case anything ever popped up.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's $15.
So yeah, if he's going to kind of start going into New Hampshire, he might be onto something. And when I say that, I don't mean he might be onto something for all of us. No. He might be onto something for APW. And I think that's important.
I was at that show.
Because I think in 2021, with what they have been able to, with him and Joe had been able to do, and Derek Mitchell, I believe Derek Mitchell's back on the production side. What they have been able to do right now, in my opinion, APW on paper has the best lineup behind the scenes that they could have had, because when APW was killing it with the videos online, it was Derek who was in charge of production, because Derek cares. And then you got Joe. And Joe, I've said it before, Joe's a chameleon. He can blend into any situation.
Absolutely.
And Michael is he's got the heart to do it, just doesn't have the experience. So he's going to
he's getting it now.
But he's getting it now. He's realizing how terrible this business is, and he's but at the time he was also leaning on Joe.
Yeah, of course.
To help him out.
Right.
And also he's responsible for getting me a discount on the Proving Ground title.
Oh, nice.
Because they ordered so many belts at once, they got into this like preferred program, and it was just like,
cool.
Yeah. So an $800 belt cost me $400 or something like that.
And you said too, like backstage too, you got like Jason Stewart and Sonny usually does the commentating, and I mean, so if a young wrestler needs guidance, you know what I mean. You can always, even Jason knows a lot about the wrestling business.
It's been around
in it
forever,
for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. How about Uncle Eddie Hunt?
Uncle Eddie is hilarious. He wants to. There was a running gag where he would be like, "Yeah, it's like so and so hasn't made it to the show. He called and said he was on Route 1. Route 1 goes all the way to Florida.
Yeah,
so that doesn't mean anything." So Eddie's cool. We only got 5 minutes, so let's see what we can do to blast through these. I guess.
How about CJ Cruz?
He worked one show with me. Well, not with PG. It was one of the outdoor shows for APW, and he was there for the APW side, wrestled Avery. And let's put it this way, he was good then. He's a lot better now.
All right. Mike Antonucci.
Don't really know the guy.
Okay.
I know that he's kind of a controversial character himself, especially with the shit that came out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But here's the thing. Who knows? I don't know. I can't really speak to it. I just know that he's the guy who runs XWA.
Right.
And yeah.
All right. How about my next week's guest, Jose Perez?
Jose Perez.
Oh, my man. I'm so excited, dude.
He's certifiable.
So excited.
No wonder him and Mike Baker did so well together. They're both nuts, but in a good way, in the best way possible.
Right.
Like, I remember one time I showed up at a Nova show, which was being run at the XWA building, and he was just like, "I got this great idea for you and Dick. Dick's going to use hand lasers." And I'm just like, that's not my gimmick, you know?
Right.
So, this was before the suits came, before the Dick Buster suits.
All right. How about Tommy Corbin?
One of my best friends in the world. I've known him forever. One of the best wrestlers that I've ever had on my show that never went to a wrestling school.
Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
Okay. How about Dan DeMann?
Dan had one match with him at Fenway Park. The spot was, and I probably should have done this the whole show, just kind of blast through, but it's me. Just invite me on. I'll do it again. Dan DeMann, Channing Thomas, Lumberjake, and me. It was a 4-way match, and the spot was I was going to do a moonsault.
Yep.
And Dan and Channing were going to move out of the way, and I was going to crash and burn, and that was going to be the end of my participation in the match. Only Dan saw me coming. Thankfully, I overshoot it anyway.
Yeah.
So Channing didn't move at all, but I still missed him.
Right.
But it was just, I just remember Dan going, Playboy didn't get out of the way.
Right.
I was like, it didn't get out of the way at all.
All right. Jason Rubble.
I remember him from NWA New England.
That's about it.
And that's about it.
Okay.
I saw him at UFO.
Right.
Good guy, as far as I know.
Vern Vicalo.
Oh, wonderful. It's Vern's turn.
Yes.
Vern should win. Vern should win every title there is on the Indies.
He's a hard-working kid. I mean, obviously things have slowed down, but when I first started doing this show, he was like the hottest working kid I saw out there. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not even joking. Like, really, 5 years ago, he's still doing it. You know what I mean? Working out and doing all that stuff. But
and he was nice enough to say nice things about me on your show.
Well, there you go. He's a good guy.
All right.
All right.
2-minute warning.
Yep.
1-word responses.
Davey Ann.
All right, maybe more than one word. She, for the longest time, was the standard bearer for women's wrestling around here, as far as I was concerned.
Okay. Slick Wagner Brown.
Was supposed to start training with him when he was running the school long ago.
Yep.
He was already gone by the time I went to the school.
Okay. Mike Skyros.
Mike Skyros wrestled Mike Montero at UFO for the championship. Quirky dude, but funny.
Okay.
And I, once again, didn't get a lot of chance to talk with him. I'm working on the trading cards with him right now.
Okay. Sabu. Did you get to meet him at that show?
I did.
All right.
I did. So
I had to throw him in there.
All right. So you know what? Screw it. This is going to be the last name because it's a small story.
Okay.
But so that particular show.
There's one more name after this, but don't worry about it.
That particular show, I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
This was right at the worst part of before I found out about what my neck injury was. And there I am sitting at the table, angry, upset, on drugs that aren't working to manage the pain. And I hear the chair to my left open, close, and a bag hits the table. And I look over, and it's Sabu, and he's just eating McDoubles. And I'm just like, Sabu's eating McDoubles. This is my Bigfoot story. I just reached over, I said, hi, Todd. He's like, Terry. And I'm like, Terry?
Right.
I'm on a first name basis with Sabu. This is good. And Super Genie was super cool.
That's cool.
But here's the thing. The reason why Sabu keeps getting all those wishes is because he keeps wishing for the same thing so they don't duplicate it. He just wants chairs. So I don't know. And McDoubles.
All right. I had to bring this name up because I really should have opened the show with this. Christian Casanova.
Oh, man.
Congratulations. Can't wait to see what's next.
You want to talk about, once AG got signed, I said 5 or 6 years or 7 years ago now, I said, AG, this was before he was anything.
Right.
I looked at him after one match at Elkmania and I said, in 5 years, you're going to be on TV. I was off by 2.
Right.
Once he got signed, the question was, who's next? And I'm just like, Christian Casanova is going to be next.
Yeah.
And now, Limitless Wrestling has the best cursed heavyweight championship in history.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to be champion.
Yes. I think it's going to be the Red Death next to be champion. I don't know if he's going to be the next one to get signed, but you never know.
You never know. Congrats, Christian. Todd, thanks. And we're going to do it again because I like having you on the show.
Name game part 2.
Yes. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.